Well, it's finally here, and it's no secret that Aquaman in the Lost Kingdom couldn't have come at a worse time. Spat out at the tail end of the year, 3 days away from Christmas, during -1's ongoing massive success in theaters, all following a large fatigue for PG-13 superhero movies. Hey, Warner Brothers, do you think you could have postponed this one just a little bit? It doesn't matter though, because it's really a lack of quality keeping it from being a success. What can best be described as okay, but is just not nearly as interesting as the first entry. While the allegory for global warming is about as subtle as Greta Thunberg's speech.
How dare you!
Overall, this sequel hurries across the finish line without any real compelling dialogue or memorable action, and fails to bring its ideas of environmentalism and family into a cohesive story that functions as well as the first. I'll do a quick plot summary followed by an analysis. Arthur Curry, the Aquaman, who is now a husband, a father, and the king of Atlantis, who struggles with juggling his responsibilities of governing Atlantis and lounging around in a bathrobe. Arthur finds the position as king to be very tedious and has a tough time convincing the Council of Atlantis that the city needs to reveal itself to the surface in order to deal with the plague caused by climate change. Meanwhile, David Kane, aka the Black Manta, embarks with a team to explore Atlantean ruins in the hopes he would be able to repair his armor. Instead, they find a creature that leads David to a mystical black trident. Once acquired, he is possessed by an ancient being known as Kordax, who promises David's revenge on Aquaman in exchange for his freedom from Earth's glacial ice that holds him and his army as a prison. David starts to raid Atlantean vaults for an energy source called orichalcum, which is later seen being dumped into a volcano as a means to accelerate global warming. David's newfound strength under Kordax's control has made it difficult for Aquaman to fight him alone, so he seeks the help of his brother Orm and breaks him out of prison. The two join forces to fight Black Manta. Long story short, Orm manages to secure the Black Trident, who then trades places with David to be possessed. Royal blood is spilled on some altar, which breaks the spell holding Kordax in place. Arthur simultaneously shatters the Black Trident and kills Kordax with a single thrust of his gold trident. The Black Manta also meets his end here, as he found death preferable to being saved by Aquaman. Afterwards, Atlantis announces its existence to the world. Arthur embraces the role of king again, and Orm eats a cheeseburger. That's where it ends, unfortunately. Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom isn't a total disaster like we've seen with Wonder Woman in 1984 or The Flash, and at least its special effects aren't anything to complain about, basically landing itself as the pretty one between three ugly sisters. Although, it does have a similar problem of bombarding you with jokes that aren't funny and telling a story with unnecessary complications. Why do Arthur's decisions as King of Atlantis get so easily dismissed? I thought the point of having a king is to shape society to their will. Plus, the fact the city's council members are willing to let most of its society crumble for the sake of tradition without proposing any viable solutions themselves is probably the most unadvisable thing coming from a damn council. Also, why does Arthur need to break Orm out of prison? Why can't he just order a temporary reprieve? Oh yeah, tradition again. Then there are parts that didn't make any sense, like what happened to the big tentacle-looking thing in the beginning. Why do the people in David's team have no self-preservation? All except for one, they seem to have no problem making the whole planet unlivable just to kill one guy. You gotta wonder how much these guys are getting paid. Anyway, what's good about this movie is pretty shallow, I'm sorry to say. Other than a couple of fight scenes with the Black Manta being pretty top-notch, Orm getting to redeem himself, and the acting coming from its main cast shows they were very suited for their roles. But sadly, there isn't a whole lot more I could say. I wish I could give this a much more positive review, because by the looks of things, this might be Jason Momoa's last film as Aquaman, and I'd hate for that to be the case. Jason is the guy who turned Aquaman from a joke.
Yeah! Who would have activated her again? I don't know, Seaman. It's Seaman!
Into a badass. Then they went backwards into making him into a joke again. It's pretty clear that Warner Brothers' attempt to recapture the glory days of Marvel's success isn't going so well. The funniest part is, while James Gunn tries to reshape the DCEU's image from something dark and gritty, the two qualities currently helping Invincible and The Boys stand out as great successes. Straight to tailoring it for a less mature audience is roughly the same time these superhero movies got old. That's all I've got for this review. If you made it this far into the video, be sure to hit the like and subscribe button so you can stay tuned for my next review. Take care.